Some of you couldn't read this tweet because you're grandpas, but what it actually says is, gonna do a video on a bunch of things today, including Mike Darnay's article. Seems many of you think it's hot poop, and that flower to the Maple Leafs for Gauthier is horse poop. Someone pointed out that most Penguins fans use a different flower emoji for Marc-Andre Fleury, and his name is not Marc-Andre Tulip, and I get that, but I'm trying! Hey, I'm making a YouTube video on my YouTube channel. Feels like it's been a while. I've been writing stuff and putting stuff on the Sportsnet channel, but I looked at mine and I'm like, oh right, neglect. So I want to talk to you guys about a few things, a few little news and notes, because it's a huge 2 weeks coming up. I'm trying to find the words to describe how excited I am, and all I can come up with is, maybe I'll see you in Buffalo because I'm going to night 1 of the draft. But before we get to that, there's a little story that's percolating just kind of under the surface. Marc-Andre Fleury and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Mike Darnay, who you may remember as the beauty Pens fan who got me a ticket to Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, he wrote on Pensburg about possible teams that Marc-Andre Fleury could go to. He wrote about the Flames, the Leafs, and the Stars. Now, before we get to that, this is about to go crazy. What do we know? Alright, well, we know James Reimer is probably the best goalie available on the free agent market, and if you groan at that, well, go ahead and look at the list. Now, of course, that doesn't include restricted free agents. The most coveted among them, probably Frederik Andersen. After that, you got trade targets. I'm sure Dallas would let you have either of their goalies, but who's going to take them? So really, it's just Marc-Andre Fleury. The problem that the Pittsburgh Penguins have is they can't afford Marc-Andre Fleury. So what they need to do is trade Marc-Andre Fleury to a team that needs a goalie. A team that needs a goalie bad enough that they're willing to pay him $5.75 million for the next 3 seasons, and they can afford it. And I think the list is this big. Now, a suggestion that Mike wrote that I think is not far away from fair. How about Marc-Andre Fleury to the Leafs in exchange for Jonathan Bernier and Frederik Gauthier? Now, Mike did admit that after he posted it, that he doesn't know the Leafs prospect system that well, and he just kind of threw Gauthier in there. Personally, I think, it breaks my heart, but maybe a Stuart Percy makes a little more sense in there. So that obviously benefits the Penguins because they get a huge amount of cap relief. They get a little bit in year 1 and a lot in year 2 and 3. The Leafs get a legitimate starting goaltender. Now here's the thing. I know we think the Leafs can spend willy-nilly, but if you look at their cap situation, no they can't. And oh yeah, they need a goalie. I think they need at least one goalie, but why this one? You could trade cheap assets and draft picks because you have tons of them for Frederik Andersen. Why not do that? You could sign a free agent stopgap like Jonas Enroth, relatively cheap, probably $2 million or less. Why not do that? Why do you have to get Marc-Andre Fleury? The answer is you don't. The goalie situation this summer is going to be fascinating because there are so few spots, so few teams who can afford to just, yeah, I'll take your $5 million player. Something's got to give, though. The Penguins can't keep Fleury for a variety of reasons. The Leafs can't just go into the season with what they have for a variety of reasons. The Flames even less so. What's going to give? And we talked about this a lot recently on the most recent episode of the Panago Pizza Steve Dangle podcast. We had reporter Chris on, Chris Johnston from Sportsnet. He is a beauty, a gentleman, and a scholar, and we get to hear him swear. Like when you're in grade 4 and you hear your teacher say, damn. Damn it, Steve, quit horsing around! Oh, we talked about a whole variety of topics, and the impending goalie, just complete crazy circus was a topic. Marc-Andre Fleury to the Leafs was a topic. He seems to think it's possible. He also mentioned that Frederik Andersen is probably the Leafs' top target, which I think makes a lot of sense. Speaking of which, we also talked a lot about James Reimer, kind of interspersed throughout the episode, and there were some stories in there that were just really sweet, and I think he's really worth it. You should definitely listen to that episode. It's over 2 hours long, loads of entertainment for over the weekend, and the next episode that we are recording Tuesday night, we're going to have Tom from GeneralFanager.com. That's right, one of the sites that came after Cap Geek, pays attention to all the cap stuff. He's gonna explain some things that I am barely educated on at best. People keep asking me about the Pavel Datsyuk situation, and I'm like, I don't know, because people keep saying different things. Are they screwed? Are they not screwed? I think there's a press conference going on as I'm recording this video that answers that question. I don't know, but Tom is gonna come on, and it's gonna be great, and you will listen and enjoy it. Did you know that they sell espresso beans covered in chocolate? They do! Look what I can do! Another thing, gosh darn it, I can't believe how many people rely on me to tweet about videos and they don't know about them otherwise. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, damn it! Make your life better, treat yourself. Furthermore, you know what you should know about, and I think a lot of you don't, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. The Steve Dangle blog on sportsnet.ca. It's basically my own website. in sportsnet.ca. Google the Steve Dangle blog, or even Yahoo if you're feeling cheeky, and just throw it in there, and there's all kinds of stuff. There's the podcast, there's LFR videos, there's stuff that I wrote recently. Did you see my thing on Gordie Howe? Well, if you didn't, then shame on you. Did you miss the podcast? Did you miss the blog that I wrote about the podcast? I bet you did, and you should fix that. And last but not least, I need your help. I want your help. I wanted to write a piece basically on my own NHL awards. Everyone kind of does this, and I'm not talking about I want to name like a Hart winner, or I want to name a Norris winner. It's certainly not Drew Doughty, you see, because I just want to acknowledge great people throughout hockey Twitter. And I know there were a few of these bouncing around, but I want to do my own. And I'm just so dry on ideas. I'm trying, I'm struggling, but sometimes they don't come. Help me come up with awards. You obviously don't have to say who would win them, just say what the award should be for. The nicest smile. I don't know. The dankest memes. So leave a comment in the comment section or tweet me at Steve_Dangle. And lastly, question of the video, on account of there was no game. What do you think is going to happen in the next 2 weeks? Because the answer is definitely not the draft and nothing else. There's going to be Stamkos stuff. There might be Kyle Okposo stuff. There might be all kinds of little leaf trades. I think there could be a lot of really little tiny ones. There could be a lot of moves throughout the league. The goaltending situations around the league, something has to give. There are a lot of really cap-strapped teams. The Blackhawks are still in a lot of trouble. A lot of teams are in a lot of trouble. The Hurricanes need to make the floor. What's going to go on? So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. Tell all your friends. Why do they make those? Like, I could just get an espresso. I could just get chocolate. I could have them together and I wouldn't be this hyper. You can't just stop eating from a bag of espresso beans.